What?
You seem...
I don't know if this has ever happened. Usually one of us has like taken the reins by now. And I don't know what to say.
I think you said the only thing you can say.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
No.
Hello and welcome.
welcome to the Movie Men podcast.
I feel like typically there's supposed to be, well, I don't know there's supposed to be. Typically we have some degree of preamble that we do. Mm-hmm. And I have nothing. Well, I mean, there's lots going on. You know, we could talk about the Doctor Strange trailer.
Yeah.
Which I assume you've seen.
I don't know if I've seen the newest one. If there's like a newer one, then
You saw the one that came out at the Super Bowl.
yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So you know about the Professor X thing and and all that. Yeah. So we could talk about that stuff. We could talk about, the Batman is like a week and a bit away.
Essentially days. Like you could chalk it up to days compared to how long we've been waiting for it. It's mere days away.
Well, it's so freaking close. But I've really just I think I've put more brain power into there's a question pertaining to the movie that we're reviewing that I'm itching and burning like I don't know. I don't know my STIs very well, but like some sort of thing that would make you itch and burn. To ask you a question about this film.
Sure.
That I'm struggling with preamble.
Sometimes it's weird how in sync we are. And I mean, you and I are so different. Like when you say film A is good, I say I hate it. And when I say film B is a 10 out of 10, you go, it's more like a 5. So there's some things where we just contrast, but sometimes we're just in sync. So maybe probably for not the same reasons or for the same tone or vibe. But I honestly felt the same way. Like when I was like coming up with some preamble, I'm like, well, I actually just want to like give off this vibe to lead straight into this episode talk. So
confusingly now we're preambling about preamble.
Yeah.
Which is something we haven't, anyone thinking out there, the Movie Men podcast has become a little stale. They don't do anything. We have never done this before.
Okay, well, let's get this out of the way. Welcome to the Movie Men podcast. This is Peter, and the other voice is obviously Brady. And this is our first episode in delving into a series of the Fantastic Beasts series leading up to the new release that's upcoming in more than days. It's not as close as the Batman, but it's close-ish.
Kind of just in a lot of ways, just a revisiting of a series we've already done or have been doing. We kind of took a hiatus.
From Harry Potter, you mean? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because we finished Harry Potter and then we were like, should we just do the Fantastic Beasts now? Mm-hmm. And at the time, we knew that somewhere in the pipeline was another Fantastic Beasts movie.
Sure.
But I don't know if it had been announced or if it had. It was like, it was pretty much, it was an obscure kind of what am I anyways, it was so far away and there was so little talk about it. There was no trailer out, and we're like, well, it might feel weird. It might feel weird to just do 2 films now and then be left with nothing.
Yes.
And then kind of out of nowhere, like a month ago, the trailer popped up. And there was and I don't know if this was surely this was a previously revealed release date. But there was a trailer and I was like, oh, this thing's coming out soon. This thing is around the corner. And then we went in and did a little bit of backdoor reworking of our schedule of our episode of the episodes in the hopper, so that we could, finagle the first and second Fantastic Beasts in.
We postponed our Fast and Furious series review.
Yeah, and and we've indefinitely put on pause the Nick Cage filmography series
for now. For
now. I was also actually thinking, okay, here we go. Now we're preambling.
Okay.
I was thinking the other day,
Sure.
and by that I mean like 2 hours ago,
Hey.
that we should, at some point, I don't know when,
Sure.
and I don't know what it would be like. I don't know what we would do.
Sure.
But I do think there's a merit to doing a Tarantino-a-thon. And I want to, like, I don't know, I've been thinking about, you and I, we need to, this is a little, behind the curtain, in front of
Sure.
the curtain stuff about to happen.
Yep.
We've talked a lot about a second live stream.
Right. Yes. Yep.
And I do think, like, I think it would be interesting to do, although there's so many copyright issues, I think it'd be interesting to do like a watch party.
You're right.
I just don't know how we do that. And I think I'm discussing this now on the podcast because I'm hoping for some listener feedback.
Sure.
I don't know how we do that. Like, because we can't just stream the movie
no.
have people watch it.
No.
And so I don't know what the entertaining, engaging way to do that and have people drop in anytime. And still kind of, So let us know. Let us know, anywhere you listen to our show, if there's an opportunity to comment. Ideally, comment on our Facebook. Send us a message.
Yep.
Or tweet at us, or DM us on Instagram, and just let us know, hey, this is what I'd like to see in a live stream. Because I honestly, like, the thing about a live stream, like the last time we did a live stream, it was a 5-hour live stream.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people, maybe yourself included, would look at that and go, 5 hours was... it was a bit much. Those 5 hours flew by.
That's true.
Like, we kept having guests and stuff come in, and now thinking back on it, to think about the fact that had been 5 hours is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But I do think it'd be, I think it'd be interesting to do something like, I don't know. Shrek's the only thing popping into my. What is a film franchise that has, maybe a trilogy? What's a trilogy that we haven't already covered?
Oh, that we haven't already covered. Yeah.
Aside from Lord of the Rings, let's say Back to the Future.
Yeah. There you go.
Right. So let's say we did a Back to the Future live stream. I think the only way to do this live stream would be to have 2 breaks in this live stream, and those 2 breaks would fall essentially between the first and second film and the second and third. To just sit and make it a marathon. Make it a, we're here, you can come and you can go, but we're here. It would end up being, really, if you think about it, it would end up being like a 6.5, 7 hour live stream, which if we've already done 5, and we're going to be talking and we're going to be chatting and we're going to be commenting on the movie and stuff throughout it, I don't think it would feel, for us, I don't think it would be that awful. And people want you to, like, you can't, if you just do what's easy, we could we could do hour-long Movie Men episodes, but there's something about 5 minutes that just fits my schedule so much nicer. You gotta, you work for it. Anyways, I leave that with you, and I leave that with you, dear listener, to contemplate.
Yeah.
And get back to to one of us.
There's definitely some ideas here, and I think we just got to refine it a little bit. But I think there's something there to at least some degree. I think there's something there.
Also, I handle most of the social medias, so you can just send a message on social media, and then I can just say to Pete, overwhelmingly, everyone's wanting a 48-hour marathon, and I don't know. Like they're saying they'll donate, they're gonna all sign up for Patreon. Like it's but like overwhelmingly, like 300,000 people
just flooded us.
I don't know. I think we might be getting an email from Mark Zuckerberg at some point here because we're probably going to get pegged as some sort of like cult. Like I don't know what's happening. But do you have trivia today, sir?
Oh man! So here we go.
Ooh. Ow!
I don't want to talk.
I returned that. Did you notice?
You picked a good week to return it. I have to tell you, I'm not going to crown it. I don't want to hype it up. It's not the best trivia, but man, I'm excited for it. I think there could be some fun. There could be some tidbits in here. Some gold here, and there's the usual. Hey, I'm going to just regurgitate some stuff that I found interesting, but it'll boil down to two questions.
That's okay. Honestly, I am nearing the end of my third year of post-secondary. So literally, the last 3 years of my life have been listening to useless shit that one person finds fascinating and decides that they're going to share with everybody else.
I guess the only difference is I don't control your future, right?
And neither do these clowns. That's what I have to keep telling myself.
Oh, okay. So here's the little tidbit first.
Right.
The tidbits are around Eddie Redmayne, and just some interesting things that I found. He had an audition for Kylo Ren in the new Star Wars trilogy, and according to him, the audition did not go well, and obviously he didn't get the part. And I don't quite picture him in that role, so I think the best decision was made, and that led to an opening in his schedule to be available for this series, and apparently he was like the guy that they had in mind. Like it wasn't just an audition, like they wanted him, so it worked out. But I thought the Kylo Ren bit was interesting. The other is, I guess they had some scene in the works in this film we're about to review to kind of, it was going to be a shirtless scene, and it was going to show scars on our character and different, battle wounds, so to speak, of, here's different things that have happened when he's looked after beasts, like claws and different bites and different things. But the point is, he worked out, he got buff, he got really in shape for it, and in the end, they eliminated the scene. I don't know if they filmed it and eliminated it, or when it came to shooting, then they didn't want it anymore. But regardless, they had him work out, they had him prepare for this, and probably eat a scoop of rice a day and plain chicken breast 4 times a day and all that jazz that would have to be done to only not have it happen. So
do you look at him in this movie and think to yourself, wow?
No.
You're wearing a shirt, but under that, I can still see some tone and some definition.
Okay, I don't know what you're trying to ask here, but I think what I will say is, his part in this film doesn't scream to me, here comes the shirtless montage moment, right? It's not, here's Dwayne Johnson lifting something on a beach. Those things, that's not why I'm buying a movie ticket, but it's okay, this is par for the course. For this, it would have been kind of out of shape, out of context, so it would have been a little bit weird for me.
Yeah, I mean, in this universe, we've seen Harry naked in a bathtub.
Naked?
I'm assuming he's naked. That's why Moaning Myrtle is in Goblet of Fire. That's why she's going under and strangely, these weird the bathrooms at Hogwarts. Is to me the biggest unanswered. What? architecturally, what is the like? I
Right.
understand that you're not governed by like normal codes of ethics when it comes to like
Sure.
just a bunch of, but like they're literally like Roman bathhouses basically. And he's hanging out in the girls' washroom.
It is old. Like, it's old, an old building. So, I mean,
But if you're going to retrofit
True.
anything,
yeah, that's
make
true.
make your bathrooms make sense, man.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But,
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. Okay. 2 questions. So, the first question. What was this film, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, what was this film able to accomplish that a Wizarding World film had never accomplished to this point? And I'll give you some choices, unless you just
okay.
want to rip out and say it. But I do have choices.
Well, I was just going to say put half the audience to sleep.
Nice. That was good.
Which is not actually indicative of how I feel. So I just want to.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's how one of us feels for sure.
Ooh. Ooh, you don't like this movie. Ooh, we're going to have a fun. Okay.
So like,
right.
the 3 choices are, the accomplishments wise, was it the first to be nominated for an Academy? Was it the first to win an Academy? Was it the first to be the highest grossing film in the year in which it came out?
Oh, geez, Louise. Okay, so I want to point out a couple of things.
Please do.
If I had a better memory than I did, I would already be able to eliminate an option because I'm fairly certain that every time we did a Harry Potter episode,
Right.
you would talk about whether it was the highest grossing film. I'm
Now-
going to say no because I'm pretty sure at some point one of those other movies was the highest grossing film of the year.
Sure. Now, kind of aside from that, just to clarify, that question was, I believe, when I asked that it time and time again, was it the highest grossing in the franchise? So not necessarily of the year. So I think I guess I'm just trying to say this could still be an option or it couldn't be an option, but
Okay.
the 2 things are kind of independent.
Well, I'm going to say no. I'm still going to say no to that one.
Sure, please. Yeah.
Because even if one of the other Harry Potter films haven't been the highest grossing film in their year, I doubt a Harry Potterless Harry Potter movie would have done it either.
Sure.
Right. So even if it's never happened before, I would say that's still probably an unbroken streak.
Right.
As far as the Oscar stuff goes, it's interesting because both these other 2 options are Oscar related.
Yes.
And it's hard to say, if it is the first time that one was nominated, then, see, it's weird. I'm breaking this down in my head. If it was the first time that one is nominated, I don't think it would be because none of the Harry Potter films were Oscar nomination worthy. I think it would be a sign of the times and the different types of films that have been recognized for the Academy Awards
Yep.
in more recent years.
That's true.
Having said that, so if I select that option, it means that see, that seems like a viable option to me because it means that none of the Harry Potter films were ever nominated. But again, I can fall back on, just a sign of the times. Whereas if I
Sign of
go
the times,
with
for sure, because I'm just reiterating what you're saying. There's like a 15-year gap between when this came out and the first Harry Potter. So yeah, different landscape for sure for what would be recognized.
So if I go with the second option, that implies that there were 8 Harry Potter films that were potentially nominated, and all 8 lost out to other films. Okay, I'm gonna go with the first nomination, and I think it's probably more indicative of just a sign of the times.
Sure, that's a valid guess. Guess, not guest. We don't have a guest coming on. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Radcliffe. Can you imagine?
I wish, but he's coming on for the new release in a couple weeks. But
Yeah.
that is not correct. It was the first in the wizarding world to win an Academy Award.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, now that I'm thinking about it, it could be that the sign of the time, it could still be a sign of the time thing. And it could just be that, like, do you have a list of which Harry Potter films received Oscar nominations?
Not in front of me, no. So
Okay.
I don't know which was the first.
Because then, if it's just like the last 1, 2, or 3 of them, then that's still,
Right. Yeah.
Whereas if like the third one won an
Right.
Oscar, got a nomination, then that upsets the cards a little here. But
Sure. And just for the record, the one that it won was Best Costume Design, and it beat out, which is close to my heart, it beat out La La Land. And as much as I love La La Land, I'm not going to say A was better than B, but I will say I did appreciate the costumes in this film that we're watching, so I'm not upset that it won an Oscar for this.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. The final question is, members of the U.S. wizarding community in this film don't use the term muggles to mean non-magical people. Instead, they call them no-maj. In the 1920s,
A reasonable name.
in the 1920s, muggles was U.S. slang for what? And I've got some options. Bottles of bootleg moonshine,
Muggles.
because it was prohibition, remember?
Yeah.
Marijuana cigarettes, or money launderers.
Did you just refer to a joint as a marijuana cigarette?
That's
Like
not
I get that technically that's what it is. But it's just
listen, it's not that okay, there's a couple things to break down here. One, I mean, I don't see the big deal if I did call it that. The second, this isn't talking on the street about what's the most applicable term that the kids are saying these days. This is trivia, and I gotta lay out the facts just so there's no confusion.
I know, it just seems like, you'll be watching one of those like teen movies like American Pie or whatever it is, Porky's or Meatballs or whatever. And there's like the extremely nerdy, socially inadept kid who's like in college or university for the first time, and he's like, and there's all this peer pressure because there's a party happening in the dorm, and he's handed something, and he's like, is this a marijuana cigarette? Like, it just has this kind of like completely unaware of the word joint or doobie or a blunt or or whatever it is, like whatever, it's just like, yeah.
See, I picture it in the same context, like school or coming of age film or whatever, but it's like the teacher who doesn't have a pulse on what's hip or what's now, and say the kids are like doing something innocent, like working on a project in the AV lounge or something, but then he pops in and he's like, "You guys smoking marijuana cigarettes? What are you doing in here?" And
they're like, "No, sir." Which is true. And then he leaves, and then they like eat a couple mushrooms. They're like, "Oh, so good." So I'm gonna go with the money launderer.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know why. That's just like something gut instinct is pulling me towards that option.
Sure. Oh, I am sorry to say you are batting 0 today. The answer.
Okay, hang on.
Go ahead. Yes.
You have 3 times now tried to appropriate my sound effect. And now you're using it as a negative. You just attempted to change the connotations around that sound effect.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Sorry. But what I will say in my defense, I have to have some sound opposite to applause, and that's all I have. And the third time that I did use it was putting a feather in your cap, because you did make a good joke, and it was like a brum to go with your joke. So
yeah,
I will say I will back off for the rest of the episode, but I won't back off for why I used it those times.
I'm confused, but I'll go with it.
The answer was knock knock on the AV lounge, marijuana cigarettes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The devil's lettuce strikes again.
Oh yeah. There you go. Well,
jeez.
That is trivia for this week.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
that wasn't bad. That's good.
Thank you.
That feels more like the days of yore.
Yeah. I was about to say yonder, but that's not how that means something else, I think.
The days of over there. That's what that means. Remember when we lived? Remember, we just moved to this house last year. We used to live 2 blocks over. You remember the yonder years?
Oh,
God, those were some good years.
Those were the good years, boy.
Yeah. Can I question?
Yes, I want to know what this question is.
What is your reaction to me saying that I think maybe this film simultaneously had everything going for it?
Oh, okay.
In that it was riding on the coattails of a largely successful IP.
Yes.
And doomed to fail, living in the shadow of a largely successful IP.
Okay. Yeah, like a double-edged sword, so to speak.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot all week.
Yeah. That is quite the paradox, really.
What say ye?
I've never thought of it like that. I think I've only thought of it... I'm trying to think of those two, which one I've always classified it as. I think I classified it more the first, like a great opportunity, and like as long as you maintain some plateau of success, you can keep the gravy train riding, so to speak.
Right.
But that's an interesting alternative that I've never thought of.
And we're approaching our second sequel to this film.
Mm-hmm.
So was that gravy train satisfied?
So, sir, what do you mean by that? Like,
well, you just said you get to, if you reach a certain level of success, you get to keep going. So was that level of success reached?
Well, I don't know how to answer that without showing too many cards.
Well, show them, man. Well, this is it's a 2-card stud or something. I don't know the names. I know Texas. Okay. I know how to play Texas Hold'em, and everything else is just like some ass backwards
stud. Let's go.
You know what I want? You know what I want to play?
What do you want to play?
I want to sit in Ben Sumner's woodshed.
Oh.
With meat, cheese, whiskey, and cigars, and I want to shoot dice.
Oh,
which is something that, like, a young adult living in the 21st century, I don't think I thought I would ever, like...
Say?
I want to go sit in this shed and shoot some dice. It feels like a very... it's like the guy in the saloon from Back to the Future. Run for fun? The hell kind of fun is that? But yeah. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Show some cards, sir. That's how you play.
Okay. I'm going to show my cards, but I'm not going to show them for the whole series, right? Because there'll be another day for that.
Right. Yeah. Well, sure. No. Yeah.
I don't like this film. I don't think. I don't think it did a good job.
Well, thank you for listening.
And tune in for next week when we review the second film.
Your support means a lot to us.
Yeah, I wasn't excited to watch this film. I'm not gonna lie.
Had you seen it before now? Yes.
This is the second time I've seen it. I watched it in theaters, and I watched it this week.
Oh, okay.
And
so you gave it the old college try.
I did. I really did.
Okay.
And I honestly I know this film has the word beasts in the title. I get it. And this is
Beasts.
nitpicky. But
You're about to hate on the fact that this film is exactly what it's advertised to be.
listen, I know they said they'd listen.
I know the movie's called Toy Story, but literally, like, it's just constant. Just like it's like catered towards kids or something. It's just like,
come on. No, I found most of this film filler. Like, I found it empty. I found it. I didn't care about it. It was mundane. Just there's parts that I liked, and again, because Beasts is in the title, so there's some things when he's in his magical bag that it's getting into the wizarding universe again, and there's things that I like, but then there's this whole premise that is a big part of the story is like rounding up these 3 monsters, and it becomes like a grocery list to me that it's just something that we have to get done to then move on with the story. And it's nothing about this along this ride with these beasts makes it worth watching it to me. I mean, it's honestly maybe the last 20 minutes where I go, okay, from here on out, I'm interested in this bigger picture story that we see. So then if you think about that, it's an hour and a half or literally an hour and 50 minutes of just setup for 20 minutes. And then that 20 minutes sets us up for the next film. And I just feel this cheap taken advantage of at the end of this going, well, what did we really need of this film? Maybe we should have just started the plot where the next film starts. Like, do we need 2.5 hours of this? I mean, I guess my problem with it is it does seem like empty, hollow filler just to set up for something that's at the end. Like, I just feel like instead of immersing us in this beasts component of the film, it's just filler instead of let's get Colin Farrell in here sooner. Let's get this bigger problem in here sooner. It just seems like a periphery throughout the whole film, and just at the end, then I just feel like there are bigger fish to fry from an interesting story perspective that this film didn't cover or didn't kind of interest me in. I think that's honestly so. To answer your question, it didn't ride the plateau. Like it didn't need to be magical. It didn't need to be perfect. Didn't need to be a 10 out of 10. But it needed to interest me more just to maintain that vibe or that success that it was riding from the last Harry Potter film. And it just didn't do that. It just kind of failed. And I don't think it has to do with what you said, that like there's no way to succeed in the shadow of Harry Potter, because I didn't have high expectations. There are just some clear-cut things that I would have been okay with if it had gone in that direction. So this isn't there's no way it can succeed. It's just it didn't succeed. If that makes sense.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't have a pulse on the situation. Like, obviously, I don't know what you think, but I don't know what would you classify, like, in your network of people who like films like this? Do they like this first film? Do you like this first film? Like, am I out of the woods, or are there people like me?
I mean, I don't. That's an interesting question. I don't know that I have an idea what anyone else thinks of it.
Sure.
You know, I know the people in my life who love Harry Potter films.
Sure.
But I don't have, and some like mutual friends of ours who love Harry Potter. But I don't really have any insight on anybody when it comes to Fantastic Beasts. Except to say, like, I know which side of the Johnny Depp Grindelwald debacle a lot of people fall on, but that's a different conversation. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is like the second or third time I'd seen this movie, but it had been a while. Like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, maybe a while. And I enjoy this movie. I think that it's clearly setting up its own universe within another universe.
Sure.
There's limited mention. There's mention of Hogwarts.
Yes.
There is mention of Albus Dumbledore.
Yep.
And then there's ties in, like, there's the fact that, like, if you've read the books, the Fantastic Beasts, like Newt's book, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them,
Yep.
is one of the first year book requirements that Harry needs to pick up in Diagon Alley.
Sure. Yep.
And there's somewhere, and I can't remember if it's on Dumbledore's chocolate frog card or where, but I know within the book, within the first Harry Potter book, I know that the words Gellert Grindelwald are uttered.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And Newt Scamander, and and so, like, these were, it's not totally detached from what we know. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm shell shocked. By your appraisal.
I think there's a lot going on here that's giving me deja vu. I think you're pulling a Marshall, and I'm pulling a Brady.
With Dune?
Not you loved this film, and there's a lot of comparisons that aren't the same, but just my hate on this film is just absolutely shocking you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as I just think about this as a series, right? Like, I'm trying to think how I would have talked about this film if we were doing this film as a new release, because part of how a film does in the long run is how it fits into the bigger story, right? And we talked about this with Dune. When I watched the sequel to Dune in a few years, my impression of the first Dune might change. And with this, I think I like some elements that I'm not going to give cards away, but there are things that I enjoy about the series going forward. So maybe in light, I like this film better today than I did when I watched it at the release time, just because I know, okay, even though there's only 20 minutes that I enjoyed at the end, it leads into something that's more relevant to me from an interest perspective. But
right.
Yeah, maybe it's aged a bit better, but yeah, it's definitely rung a bit hollow.
I will concede that, like, the moment when I'm assuming it's a Polyjuice potion wears out or is counteracted by Newt's charm. And Colin Farrell is revealed to be Johnny Depp.
Sure.
That does feel like the beginning of something. Like, it's the end of the movie, but it feels like the start of something.
Yes. Yep.
Which isn't necessarily, like, it's not a bad thing for a movie to do that, to make the ending of a movie feel like the start of something bigger.
Oh, for sure.
But I guess you're saying that, like, that you feel like the story doesn't actually start until that moment.
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, because there are series that you need an introduction. You need some baseline to start, right? You can't just go into the overarching story. Maybe, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, but there are first installments of trilogies or series that exist that, in my mind, hold enough weight on their own and aren't just, well, here's just a bookend that sets things up for things going forward, but on its own, it rings hollow, right?
Right.
I mean, listen, it's not fair to compare it to the Lord of the Rings, but like the first Fellowship of the Ring, it's not, Frodo makes Earl Grey for 2.5 hours, and then at the end he picks up the ring and starts walking to Mordor, right? Like there's, I know there's flaws with this analogy, but I'm just saying at the end of the film you go, well, on its own, that's a good film. That's a good component of a story. And it's not complete. It leads, and it's important to lead for what's happening next. But on its own, it has merit, and I think that's.
I would wager a bet. I mean, I would
Sure.
have to look this up, but because I just watched the extended editions, I would wager a bet. It's like an hour and a half in before he's headed to before the Fellowship is set.
Sure, but and you're quite right. Like that does sound familiar, but I guess just in the context of like a 3-hour movie, it's not like, some movies an hour and a half in is like pretty dang close to the credits. In a 3-hour film, you've still got a lot of material left, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Things I like about this movie.
Sure.
And this isn't me saying
Yeah.
these are the reasons I like this movie. No,
Sure.
these are things about this movie I like. Colin Farrell's performance is awesome.
It is. Yes, I'll give you that.
Eddie Redmayne, the guy that plays Newt, incredible performance. Like
For sure.
Newt is such a interest, his mannerisms and like he's such a fascinating character, and just fun to watch because he's so quirky, and I feel like the acting performance in this movie stays true to that. Like he never wavers on the quirkiness. Everything that he does, the way he acts, you're like, yes, that is consistent with the character that you've introduced to us. So that's fun. I do like it seems weird to say because it's so brief, but Johnny Depp's performance,
It's weird
just
to
this
say.
kind of like
Yeah.
looking up and whispering, "Do you think you can hold me?"
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! You're just like it's a chilling moment because you're like, holy crap, this guy's menacing, acts menacing, looks menacing, sounds menacing. And so that's sort of special. I don't, yeah, and then everyone else like Kowalski, right? Our Nomad. He plays a comedic role, but he's also got a lot of heart. Like he's got a dream, and he's got so he's not just the comedic relief.
No. I'll give you that. Yep.
And then our two, and I'm gapping their names. What is one of them? Trixie?
Ooh,
Kind of
that
feels like
sounds
Trixie.
familiar.
Let me look it up here. Quinny. Quinny is the one I'm thinking of. Tina and Quinny. So they're Tina's a little. At times her character feels a little two-dimensional. Like she serves a role and a purpose, and she finds love she finds a crush in Newt by the end. But she doesn't have we don't get any kind of like rich backstory on her or anything. She's just kind of there. Quinny sort of being the same as her sister, but also I don't know. Also, she feels like she's got more charisma, there's more personality and more character in Quinny. And so that's, take that for what it is worth. Things I'm not crazy about. I I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a bad performance, but Ezra Miller as Credence Barebone, it just doesn't, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like the character. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad performance.
Yeah.
I think I just find the character, like, it gets old quick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't find him fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know how to judge what you've just, like, I don't know how to answer that question either, I guess is what I'm saying, because I don't enjoy it either, and I'm leaning a bit more towards probably the character is, it gets old real quick is a good way to say it. So I think it's probably the character more than Ezra, but yeah, I agree. There's, it's not great.
Yeah. I don't mind the beasts. I think the beasts are fun. I think it was an interesting choice at times for them to go back and use the CGI from 2005. It's jarring at times. Like sometimes the CGI looks incredible, and some of the beasts is just like, okay, because this is totally a fictitious creature, you guys just couldn't figure out how to make fictitious look realistic. Right? And I do, like, I imagine that's difficult. Like, the Nefer always looks great because the Nefer is essentially just like a little platypus.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of reference for what that should be and look like.
Sure.
But some of the other creatures I thought actually were quite horrible at times. So that doesn't really work for me. The soundtrack, except for the moments when we sort of get the Harry Potter score, the Harry Potter, overture.
Sure.
Right? When we get that, that's kind of magical. Aside from that, the soundtrack's pretty, like the score is a little forgettable for me.
Sure.
I do notice the lack, like, so having said that there is that connective tissue to things we already know, it is few and far between. And I understand that this film needs to stand on its own legs.
Yep, it does.
But I wonder if maybe Dumbledore could have brought, like, I know that this story takes place in New York, which I also didn't understand. Like, people in Harry Potter they apparate like long distances, don't they? Like, I don't know. I didn't understand, or flu powder. Like, there seemed like a way for Newt to arrive there other than on a steamer.
Right?
Like, I was like, what is this actually? Was that the best method? You couldn't take flu powder?
Right.
Like, how does that work?
It makes for a cool period piece moment where it's like, okay,
cool.
coming in on the steamer. But yeah, when you break it down,
you see the Statue of Liberty there, and you're like, okay, this is what the Titanic would have done if it hadn't dropped the ball.
But yeah, when you think about logistically, it's like, why are you even there right now?
Yeah, no, that's weird. But I do notice, like, Jude Law as Dumbledore isn't in this one.
No.
Although it is nice when he's referenced by name.
Yeah.
I think this film, for me, really drives home. And it's something, because I wrapped up, as soon as I wrapped up this movie, I immediately put on the trailer for Crimes of Grindelwald. And I was just kind of like, okay, like, I just want a taste of what's coming. I just want a little flavor of what's next.
Yeah.
And that movie it opens with a shot of Hogwarts.
Yes. Okay.
And I instantly felt this involuntary feeling of, oh, there you are. And I think it just really drives home the point that, like, Hogwarts is, in these films, Hogwarts is almost as much a character as any of the other characters are.
Sure.
Like, it's not just a setting. Like, there are settings. There's the Dursley's house, which is a setting. But Hogwarts is kind of its own character. It has its own personality. It almost speaks at times in just the, whether it's the changing of the staircases, or it's the moving portraits, or it's the whatever it is. You know, it kind of has, there's so much secret and so much nuance tied up in Hogwarts, that I think, you know, like we were talking about this when we did the Harry Potter films. The fact that Deathly Hallows Part 1 doesn't take place at Hogwarts, you notice that.
Yep.
And it's missing from it. It's not just like, oh wow, this is different. No, it's like, oh, like when Harry finally ends up back at Hogwarts and we see those halls and the grounds and whatever, it's like, I've been longing for this. It's good to be back, even though Hogwarts, by the time we get back in Deathly Hallows Part 2, is kind of a shit show. It feels good to be back. And so I don't know. I think, you know, there's mention of Hogwarts in this, and I don't know that I necessarily would have needed to see Hogwarts, but aside from like, there's just so much more connective tissue, I feel like, having watched the trailer for the second one. Right? You see Dumbledore, you see Hogwarts. There's a scene, even just in the trailer, where they're interacting with Nicholas Flamel. And you're like, ooh, Nicholas Flamel. Man, you cause us a lot of headaches in about 70 years. But yeah, I don't know. I don't dislike this movie. I like the idea of the beasts. That's a fun side of this world we haven't seen. It was interesting to see America and sort of how America does. It's kind of like Kingsman. It's the same feeling as Kingsman. When they go to, there's the Statesman, when they go to the, you know, and it's like, oh, okay, this is largely familiar, but it's another country's version of it, or another continent's version of it. And that's what this feels like. So it was interesting to see MACUSA, which is the Magical Council of United States of America, something, right? And so that's interesting. It's fun to see, like, the introduction of the Obscura or Obscurus, right? And kind of that back logic and that lore of, like, you know, some wizards suppress their magical abilities and it turns into this big monstrous thing, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that feels
right,
very Harry Potter.
And
it feels like nothing in this movie, it's an important disclaimer, nothing in this movie feels out of place necessarily in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Right? Everything feels like, okay, yeah, I buy this. It's definitely not Harry Potter, but there's nothing in this that's like, oh, this is pulling me out of the notion that we're in the same universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay. Yeah. I don't dislike this movie.
There are moments that I get a little bit more excited about, you know, when there's like the Lestrange reference and, you know, she was a taker, but you need a giver. And like, yeah, so like there are moments that there is the connective tissue, but it's could have been a bit more for our liking.
Are you a seeker? Actually, I'm more of a chaser.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
Like, what a fun little reference. Yeah, you know, I don't know. Could have been worse. Could have been better. It definitely could have been better.
Yes.
You know,
we can agree on that.
But I don't think it's a flop. And I sort of get the impression that maybe you kind of do, which is fine. Which is totally cool. But yeah, so do you have anything else on your wonderful list of of things? Because I got one last thing, but which is like a qualm, and it's totally a plot hole, and it pokes a major hole in this movie.
That sounds like a fun way to finish off, and I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Not a whole lot more. I will say, I you know, there are magical elements that I liked. I said I like, little references like Lestrange. I did like the suitcase and like just components like that. That reminded me of just, hopping in there, and I was like, okay, this feels like we're a little bit back in this universe, flashing around and different, like at the bank, and it's like, okay, this is a touch of what I remember. I feel like when we score this film, about 98% of what I gave this film is from the 1920s New York City time period setting, and
Nothing wrong with that.
I love that. If this had been set in 2007, which I know doesn't make sense from the story prequel perspective, but I'm just saying, setting it in the 1920s and the costume design, which it won an Oscar for, I did enjoy that component. And I wrote this down. This is my last point, and this just it tries to kind of articulate what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. Is when the movie ended, or in the closing scenes, I was interested in this man who does get his loan for his Muggle bakery, and I enjoyed the fact that he felt like he was not enjoying his life working at this canning factory, and he wanted to do something different. And there's this bakery sequence at the end that I found heartwarming for many different reasons. But I do just wonder, is this what a Wizarding World film should be hanging its hat on? And I know there's stuff infused. Like, I know those scenes were charged because of things that we saw throughout the whole movie, and there was magic involved. I hear that. But it just seems a little out of place. So it's weird.
Okay.
My favorite components I couldn't completely enjoy just because it felt like, well, why are you here in this context? Maybe this should be a different movie about something different. But that is the last thing I will end it on.
Okay.
I'm curious about the plot hole.
So at the end of the movie, we have this venom that has obliviate properties, and this creature is going to go up and make it rain. Make it rain.
Make it rain.
And shower it all amongst the No-Majs, and and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, everything will be fine. So many issues with this. Number one, there are wizards in this city that aren't privy to what just happened and what's happening right now that are also about to be obliviated.
Interesting.
Right? Issue number two, like, super convenient that the dosage just works out.
Right.
That we're obliviating just the right amount of time, and not too much or not too little.
Yeah, especially like dose equivalents, like if a baby gets rained on versus like a 300-pound man, like it works the same.
Or a 300-pound baby.
Yeah, wow.
And what about the people who saw the stuff flying around the city and like the crazy destruction and magic and whatever, that between then and now have gone inside?
Right.
And aren't getting rained on.
Yep.
Now we see a little bit, like there's a guy in a shower who's like, I don't remember anything. And then there's like a girl drinking from a glass, and she seems to have been obliviated, which, okay, so it's not the rain, it's the water supply? And how does that make sense?
Right.
And so what about the people who aren't going to drink or shower? Who don't happen during that period to come in contact with anyone? Even if we overlook the fact that the water supply thing doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
How? So that was like, to me, that was super lazy storytelling. And they were like, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to get out of this. Have you seen Men in Black 2?
No.
Okay, just the first one.
No.
Have you seen the first one? Did I make you watch it? No, you still haven't seen the first one either. Okay. There's something very similar that happens at the end of the second Men in Black movie. And it's just like, okay. Like this, this works, and it's funnier when it happens in Men in Black, but you're also like, if you look too closely at this solution, there's a lot of issues. So yeah, that's my big plot hole.
No,
Is
that's fair.
that whole ending and how we dealt with the fact that everyone just saw everything. Well, that was weak. That was
that's fair.
weak. Yeah. 0 to 10, sir. How would you rank this film?
Okie dokie. On a scale of 0 to 10, I gave it a 3.
Whoa.
I was very harsh. I was maybe leaning towards a 4, but I ended up on a 3. I took off the kid gloves, and that's what I gave it. On a scale of how much effort, would I go see it in theaters, or would I pay premium access, or would I watch it on
Why were you wearing children's gloves?
kids' gloves? How's that saying go? Yeah.
I don't. Okay. I
Take
don't
off-
know. Is that a thing?
Yeah, let me... just a second.
The gloves came off. I took off, the gloves came off. I don't know if there's anything about children's gloves.
It's maybe not children's gloves. Let me Google it, and we'll come back to this.
All right.
Put a pin in it. So I gave it a 3 out of 10. On my scale, it's the bottom of the barrel. If I'm at the cottage, there's no Wi-Fi, and it's raining, and I don't want to lose my memory, and I'm staying inside, I will watch this film, I guess, if there's a VHS of it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I stumbled across a VHS of this 2016 movie, I would watch it just out of principle. I would be like, "Wow, someone put in the effort to press this to VHS."
I must watch
And I don't understand why they did this, but I now need to watch it to make sure that there's nothing special in there that
So, before I ask you what you'd give it, it's not a saying, it's a term, kid gloves. So you'd say someone is getting kid glove treatment, as in they're getting special or delicate treatment and, being given an easy ride or an easy pass. So I did not give this movie, I did not treat it with kid gloves.
I have never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
Wow. There you go.
No.
What did you give this out of 10?
I give it a 6.8.
Okay.
It's akin to a 68%. Yeah, I don't know. It's not this. Let me. Of the Wizarding World, it is the weakest installment so far
Sure.
that we've watched
Yeah.
and reviewed. Not counting into the two that follow this movie. One of which because we haven't talked about yet. One of which because we haven't seen.
Right.
But it is the weakest so far.
Sure.
But I don't think it's a bad movie. I'm entertained by it. And what is the point if not that?
Sure.
It entertains me, and that's kind of pretty much its job. And I'm just looking up now, Rotten Tomatoes, this film, tomato meter, it does 74%.
Okay. Yeah.
And audience, it does 79. So not super far off, a little higher than what I gave it.
Sure. Sure.
But in the same ballpark. I think it's sort of the same mindset, the same way of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool.
Cool.
The hell did you watch this week?
Watched a few things. I watched, as I continue my Spider-Man watching party, so to speak, where I'm going to watch the 2 Tom Hollands, then watch the 3 Tobey Maguires, then the, I almost said Jake Gyllenhaal. I meant Andrew Garfield ones, and then followed up with the most newest Spider-Man to cap it off. I watched, where I am on that journey.
Wait.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Say that again. What Spider-Man movie did you watch?
Where I am on that journey, and what I watched is Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that's it? I thought you'd already watched that one. No.
No,
okay.
I watched...
So you were... okay.
I think I had watched Spider-Man 1 when we last spoke.
I zoned out for half a second, and I thought you had just said that you'd watched the Andrew Garfield ones, and I was like, oh man, this episode just got an hour longer because we need to like talk and unpack this and like. But okay, no,
Not
go about
yet,
your business.
but that's a teaser for upcoming episodes for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? I gave it an 8 out of 10. An 8. Definitely some nostalgia played into that, obviously, but it does stand apart from the other Tobey Maguire films and even some of the Tom Holland moments. I think the biggest thing that I'm walking away from in the conversation I had with my wife when we watched this is there's so many. I don't know who my favorite Mary Jane or MJ and Peter dynamic is. There's components that I like about the Tom Holland Zendaya, but their actual screen time and chemistry on screen time is so limited that I don't think I can put it as my favorite, although there's things that I like. I think
Do you know why you can't? Do you know why you don't know your favorite?
Why?
Because you haven't seen the Andrew Garfield ones yet.
We'll see. We'll see. I think it's still Toby and Kirsten Dunst, but I have been able to watch it more critically, and they're not as perfect as I remembered. And it's not at the fault of the acting. I think a lot of it boils down to they get way more on-screen chemistry, which is good, and their dynamic is good, and just the on-screen time really helps, just because it really helps you grow with them. And when it's revealed that when Kirsten Dunst finds out when Spider-Man who is who he is, then it just means more, and there's more oomph behind it, and you just almost feel this relief that she knows why everything was happening, for why it was happening, and what the feelings were behind it. So my point is, there's just more depth to it, and I think it's a writing problem, not an actor problem. Like, there's just so much of it at the time that her acting is limited to insert scream or insert yelling or insert crying.
Yeah.
And it is problematic, and so I can't say they're the clear-cut winners for my favorite, but that's more of a writing flaw versus the duo's fault.
Have you been to Universal Studios, like the amusement park?
No.
Okay, Disney World.
Okay.
Have you been to Disney World or
No.
Disneyland or any of the? Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, never mind then.
Sorry.
No, there are moments in this movie, there are moments in this franchise, but specifically, definitely this movie that feel very movie making to me. Like, in that the scene in the first one where it's like the Osborn, the Oscorp, whatever day, and the balcony's breaking, and it's like, and it's just very much like a chunk of plywood painted up like a thing on a hydraulic track that is like it feels. And then also in that scene, like anytime he's like coming down from a piece of web, like he's coming down on some web or like going up out of the frame again, you're like, I can picture this. Like, I'm not lost in this moment at all. Like, I can picture this from a B-roll standpoint, from a behind the scenes standpoint, and that's very just like, and then he was lowered by the crane. And like,
yeah.
And maybe it's indicative of the time.
Sure. Yeah, could be.
But yeah, there are some rough moments. I think often when I rewatched the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies recently, I think I realized the extent of rose-colored glasses that I had looked back on this franchise with.
Yes, I would agree.
And to the people who freaked out the loudest when he showed up in No Way Home, I wonder how many of them have gone back recently and watched. Not that he was any less deserving of that praise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
right? He's still like, if Adam West showed up at Comic-Con tomorrow donning his 1960s bat suit, you lose your effing mind. A, because the man's dead, so that would be weird.
I was
but
gonna
also
say.
because good or bad, if you saw George Clooney in a nippled bat suit, it would still be
Uncomfortable.
mind-blowing. But it would still be mind-blowing.
Sure.
Right? It would still be
Sure.
like, oh my God, you have been Batman. And here you are before me as Batman. And that's something special.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I would shake the hand. I would get an autograph of the guy that played Jar Jar Binks. Hands down. Hands down, I would.
Okay.
Because it's still like,
Yeah.
you ruined my childhood, but you're here, and it's still impressive, right? So, and I think in a lot of ways, not that I'm putting Tobey Maguire on the same level as either of those, but it is that kind of, no matter how poorly his trilogy ages, he will still be known as the first really blockbuster, large-scale Hollywood Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because there were like some Japanese things and like
Sure.
some,
Yeah.
he's not the first live-action
No,
Spider-Man,
no.
but he's the first like realistic,
Yep.
big-budget
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and yeah, and so he'll just kind of like, even if he passes into kind of like cult classic at some point, he'll still be the notoriety will still be there.
I think I mirror everything that you're saying. The whole rose-colored glasses is definitely a factor here. I think the one thing, and then I'll move on because, man, I could talk about this all day with you, but I can appreciate just intellectually, and it's not nostalgia playing here, it's just a comment or a fact. I can appreciate, although I didn't think the first one was great, you have to appreciate for what it did at the time and the dynamics of comic book movies at the time, and it put things on the map. And I think the second one was almost just as profound or as influential, at least for me, because it then took characters in these types of films, in these comic book films, to a next level of depth, right? Like, the first one was groundbreaking for what it was. The second one, I am just amazed for the time and the period that it came out. You get this depth of character where, you get existential crisis and, what does he want? Does he want A or does he want B? Does he want to be happy or does he want to feel fulfilled? Like, all these things. And we've seen it more, I would say a lot more in the era of MCU. So it's definitely been done maybe better. And that's a discussion for another day. But just for the time, for other context of superhero movies at the time, I just feel this was groundbreaking for that reason. And that's why part of the reasons I gave it an 8. Because I enjoyed it, but also it was accomplishing something very depth-filled.
Yeah, and this franchise came off of, yes, we have Fox's X-Men franchise at this point that's up and rolling. Yeah. But it's still a pioneer in the post Batman and Robin landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because Batman and Robin didn't just temporarily kill a franchise.
Sure.
It temporarily killed a genre. No, it did. Like the idea of comic book films.
Right.
It kind of put that nail in the coffin. Everyone's like,
Sure.
okay, well, this is a joke. Like, there's no way to do it and do it well.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you have X-Men open up with a scene and it's Auschwitz, that's like, okay, like, whoa. Yeah. There's a different way of doing this.
Yep.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies are a little more campy than the X-Men movies are at times.
Yep.
But it was still like, look, there's a big budget way of doing this and having it be a commercial success.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm rewatching is Star Wars, and I'm doing it for the first time where I'm watching 4, 5, 1 through 3, then 6 through 9. And I believe the last time I talked, I had finished Empire Strikes Back. So since then, I've watched The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. And then
Holy shitballs, man.
and just due to time constraints, I'm not fully through it, but I've started Return of the Jedi.
It's been a week.
It's
Good Lord.
I have
Should
to
I
admit,
send a care package for your neglected family? Like, what is...
I have to admit, this might be the only way to fly during this order
Right?
of watch.
Because you're like... So for those who don't know, for those who haven't heard of this and have never done it,
Sure.
the idea... And spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead
yeah.
for Star Wars.
Yeah.
But the idea is you watch A New Hope.
Yep.
And A New Hope kind of introduces you, as much as it did back in the 70s, it introduces you to the universe of Star Wars. It introduces the conflict between the Empire and the Rebels.
Yep.
It introduces our main protagonist and antagonist. And there's some great action sequences. The blowing up of the Death Star and so on and so forth. The trash compactor, yada, yada. It introduces the idea of the Force, Jedi. It references that there were Clone Wars. It references that Luke's father, Anakin Skywalker, was a good friend of Obi-Wan, and that he was betrayed and killed by Vader. Empire Strikes Back happens, and sort of our big takeaway from Empire Strikes Back, like there's a lot more furthering and depth and all this stuff, but our big takeaway from Empire Strikes Back is, spoilers, Vader is Luke's father. And what Obi-Wan told Luke was only true from a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view.
Bastard. And so then, instead of going straight into Return of the Jedi, we say, okay, look, we just hit you over the head with the truth, with a very big truth, with the real state of things. Now let's show you how we got here. Let's show you how this happened.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're thrust back, and then all of these things start transpiring. Now the only two downsides to this order.
Okay.
3 downsides to this order. Downside number 1, and this one doesn't really count,
Okay.
is that it doesn't count because I think it's better. I think it changes where the reveal of Luke and Leia being siblings are, but I think it's a better, because she's just as surprised that she's carrying twins as we are.
Oh, yeah.
Or as someone would be if they'd never seen it for the first time. And so I think this is the watch it for the very first time order as well.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Because I
Yeah.
think that's a better reveal.
I think so, too. I think I'm with you.
I think it's a better reveal.
Yep.
I think, and the second one is hit or miss. We see, if you watch the order of release first, then we kind of have an idea already of who the Emperor is by the time he starts showing up in the prequels. He's this really bad guy.
Yeah.
And when we discover that he is Palpatine and that he's been kind of manipulating, everything. That's a pretty powerful character arc.
Oh, yeah.
Having said that, there is still something about watching it in this order and seeing him in Return of the Jedi and seeing him sitting there on that throne, seeing him get off that shuttle and thinking to ourselves, you son of a bitch. knowing the heartache that he's responsible for. And knowing just what a grasp and what a clutch on Vader he has.
Right.
So that one I also don't necessarily think is a downside. The only real downside, and this is moving forward, and yeah, you'll pick up on this,
Yeah.
is in Force Awakens. Because if you watch 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, then there's a larger gap between there's more room for nostalgia when you see things like the Millennium Falcon, Han and Chewie, Leia,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're, if back-to-back nights, you're like, oh, okay, well, there's just an older version of everyone. Whereas when we went and watched,
Right.
not you and I, but like independently, when we went to see The Force Awakens in the theater, and there's not that one, that one's garbage, and and then it pans and it's we shit ourselves. We were like, oh my God. It's the Millennium Falcon, the music,
Right.
like the music's playing, and you're like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen this thing. Like, this thing hasn't been seen in the theaters
Right.
in 30 years.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so there's just a little more nostalgic there. But anyways,
That's true.
This is
to me, that's not a
this
huge.
is a long-winded. What did you watch this week?
Well, that happens when you've got two iconic franchises, right?
So, yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, and Star Wars. You're setting us up for for some stuff, dear.
But yeah, and to me, that's not even a flaw. So I can live with this decision. I think I'm happy with it.
I think it's amazing,
Yeah.
and
What-
it works. It works. So you're omitting 2 films
How do you?
and a couple of television series. Well, because really what you should be doing,
I know.
really
I
what
know.
you should be doing,
Sure.
is
What should I
watching
do?
episode 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Well, hang on. No.
If it makes any
No.
difference, before I watched A New Hope, I YouTubed the Darth Vader scenes from Rogue One, and then started A New Hope.
Where he's clearly like there's no processing on his voice, so he's clearly like 90 years old.
Oh.
Like Vader's just an old fart inside the suit. No, so really you should be watching like Solo. You should start with Solo,
Yeah, I know.
you know.
I know.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You should start with Rogue One. Rogue One, yeah. Rogue One, 4, 5, 1, 2, the Clone Wars series.
Oh, right.
3, the Solo movie. 6, Rebels, and then I don't know the order about Rebels versus Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. But those 3 need to be watched. Yeah, Rebels, Book of Boba Fett, and Mandalorian, and then 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, 9.
I thought 9 volumes was enough of an undertaking, but that would be next level.
Yeah, well, you know me.
I do know you. Oh, yeah. What did you watch this week?
3 things, sir. 3 things.
Okay.
I watched Hacksaw Ridge.
Of course you did.
My God.
Why? Like, what prompted you? Did there need to be a reason?
Just someone who hadn't seen it. The
Right.
opportunity to show it to someone.
You're
who
probably
hadn't seen
like,
it.
I'm picturing you were at work, and the person's like, "Yeah, I've never seen Hacksaw Ridge," and you upped and quit your job that second.
Yeah,
You
it's
said,
like, well, clock out now
"Yeah,
because
we got something to do."
yeah, time has come. No, it's just so damn good. Like, Hugo Weaving, Andrew Garfield, Vince Vaughn in a serious non-comedic role.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
it's just it's a great film. I watched, interestingly, reaching back into my past, into my like teenage years.
Huh.
I watched the first Final Destination movie.
Oh. Huh.
And you know what? It's cheesy and it's kind of dumb,
Sure.
but it works in the movie's favor. Only because I have the nostalgic, like, watched it as a teenager.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think if I was putting fresh eyes on it, I would, I'd be like, oh, Okay. Like I can kind of see the,
Right.
I can, but it's like, it's the Final Destination movies. I assume you've seen none.
How did you know?
The Final Destination movies kind of fall into their own. They're kind of their own category. They're their own like subcategory of horror, and so they're just like when you are your own genre, it's hard to do it wrong. Because you kind of set your own rules, you know.
Right.
So, anyways, yeah, and then finally, because I'm done. I'm done, Friends.
Yes.
Done, Friends.
Oh.
I watched the reunion.
Okay.
So that's done.
Nice.
So I needed a new television show.
Oh.
A new 20-minute. You know, it's good to have like a 40-minute, like a full-length, full-format television show on the go. But it's also good to always have like a 20-minute. Just throw it on. You know,
Sure.
I got like half an hour to kill.
Yeah.
Kind of show.
Yeah.
And so I would be amiss if I didn't reach to our, if I didn't look to our top television shows episode and choose one of my top 5.
Okay. Supernatural.
No, that's 40 minutes.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to think what else. You had Friends, Supernatural. What else was in your top 5 that was 30 minutes?
I think, well, so things that weren't 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure that 24 was in there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that's 3.
What were the other ones?
What was the
drawing a
fourth
blank.
one? I'm trying to remember what my fourth, isn't that, doesn't that just say like, oh yeah, sure, that's your favorite show there, eh? You can't even effing remember it. Was it The Simpsons? No. I think Simpsons definitely got honorable mention because it was
Sure.
like, how can you not? How can you not?
But that's not the answer here.
No. 2.5 Men was in there.
Oh.
2.5 Men was one of them.
Okay.
But that obviously that's not it because I was having
that's not
trouble
it.
thinking of it. No.
Oh, okay. Well, what is it?
I've started rewatching Boy Meets World.
Oh, right. Yes. I remember you saying that.
And something about this rewatching of it has been really interesting for me because I'm realizing, like, I just rewatched it like 3 years ago. So, like,
Wow.
I've seen it as an adult. But something about this rewatching of it is making me realize that so much of who I am, so much of what I believe, so much of like my moral stance and like lessons I've learned in my life are things that at some point Feeney has taught to Corey, Sean, and Topanga.
Huh.
And so it's just like it's just amazing. Like Feeney will start talking about something and I'm like, that's exactly how I feel about it. And that's exactly what I would say to someone if I were giving them advice in this situation. And I think I'm realizing it's because I know these things and I feel these ways because that's what Feeney taught me as a kid.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really in the same way that some of the shit because you watched Magic School Bus.
Sure. Yep.
Like legit. Like probably most of your understanding of like how prisms and color and stuff like that works and molecules and whatever, like unless you took like some really advanced sciences in high school, most of your understanding of that stuff, because of watching Magic School Bus as a kid.
Right.
And some of that stuff is stuck with you. And so like so a lot of like life lessons about how you treat people, how you treat yourself, what's important, what isn't. Like, yeah, Boy Meets World, man. It's a powerful ride.
I didn't realize it had that much of an influence, but wow.
Oh yeah. Have you seen, I can't remember. Have you seen Boy Meets World?
I've seen like a handful of episodes, not.
Oh no, you got to get on the gravy train, man. Okay. Make it happen, Captain. All right, wrap this thing up, man.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining us. Check out our socials below. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out our Patreon page, our merchandise page. Support the show if you feel so inclined. Help us keep the lights on, and help us to thank you by giving you perks back for doing so. Give us a good rate, give us a good review wherever you can, and thank you for joining us. And I feel like we just hit on so many different things today. Like, this started as a Fantastic Beast episode, and it went a whole bunch of different ways, and that's okay. And I just, for whatever reason you joined us, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Just don't let it happen again. Is that the wrong? I feel like that's the wrong message to send.
I don't think so. Maybe.
No? No? Like, hey, thanks for coming, but don't do it again.
Don't do it again.
You know, don't subscribe. Don't listen to it. Don't scroll down and see all the other episodes of movies you love.
Or the podcasters you love.
Yeah. Go listen to Joe Rogan or something.
No.
You sellout.